Hi, my name is Joseph Weeks from Say Bye Boss. This is my everzippy review. I am reviewing everzippy today as a buyer. I own this product and I think it's quite a good product, and I'm here to tell you about it. I'll give a review and talk to you about some of the points and some of the aspects of this software which I think will be useful for any business owner that is interested in setting up webinars. So everzippy is essentially an app or software that allows you to take any video and convert it into webinar. And this then allows you broadcast it at different times within different time slots and using different methods. But before we go on, let me talk to you about some of the bonuses I have put together, which I believe are not just complementary, but they're congruent with the nature of this application that we have here. The first one is called high-paying clients, the secret of high-paying clients, or the secret in essence. This refers to how you actually achieve how you actually achieve getting high-paying clients, and what the requirements are, what would be good to attract them, and how to keep them. Essentially, webinars are a very good way to actually do this because of the nature of what a webinar is. It's essentially many times a one-on-one, or even if they want a small group, which allows you get into the nitty-gritty of what you're doing and allows you answer questions that might help to close the deal, essentially. So this is my first bonus. My second bonus is high ticket authority. Now, high tickets, or in case for those of you who do not know, high ticket products or high ticket services are those which have a particular price tag, sometimes in the thousands. And I'll actually add mid-ticket there as well. They go hand in hand with high-paying clients. If you have a high-ticket offer, you like to get yourself a high-paying client, and webinars are without a doubt one of the best ways of converting these high-paying clients, as much as possible. Okay, so the next bonus I have is for lead generation. Now, within the software, there are integrations that allow for lead generation. Mine is in particular is connected to my GetResponse autoresponder, and in essence, lead generation is the lifeblood of many businesses. So what tends to happen is, if you have a good lead generation strategy, without doubt that you'll be able to generate and keep these leads. And so this third bonus, I believe, is quite important and will really help a lot. Now, with that said and done, let's jump into the application. Now, this is the interface you see when you log into the dashboard. And on the left, you can see a number of different menus. These are the webinars that you have on here. Above this is something called the Mintware dashboard. Now, who Mintware are? Mintware are these guys who have created a suite of products, of which everzippy is one. And they have a number of complementary products, like a meeting room application by which you can do one-on-ones, and which you can develop descriptive tutoring or discussions. And this in itself is a very complementary product with everzippy. The reason why I'm talking about this is one of the menus here has the MidZippy application here, and you can see that I already have a few videos within MidZippy, which I'll show you when I get into the app itself. So this is the other menu button on the menu, down the menu system. And if you go up here, you see one for replays, analytics, and tutorials. There's also a button here for the evergreen portion of everzippy. if you want to switch to the live version of everzippy that also exists. However, this is with one of the upsells, but for the front end itself, what you get is this part of the application. So to create a webinar, what you do is you click on this, and this takes you to another screen. Now what I've done is I've been working on just looking at different things. So I was creating a webinar prior to talking to you. And let's just say I want to create a webinar for getting lead generation right, for example. So I put in the title, and I can put in the description, just stating, do you have 5 different ways to get lead generation optimized within your business? That's a typo. Anyway, and then find out how, and put that as a question mark. And then what we do is we can then select the time zone we're in. So, I could select this in a lot of different time zones here, and I could just pick Los Angeles, for example. What was that? Yeah, and leave it at that. And then, this is for process of branding. I could upload my logo as well. That's my logo in here, and I could set it right and crop that, and that gets uploaded. And the next thing it does is it prompts me to put in a tag. Now the tags are useful for segmenting your webinars. So in this, I could just put a tag for lead generation. So if you do have several webinars, or you might have categories that you are dealing in, and you want to segment them according to category, so you can call all the webinars you do that are for lead generation, and then the ones you do for any other sort of thing like SEO for SEO. So it depends on how you want to structure your internal system. Now, these are what I was talking about. These two videos are within my library, and they actually have come from my everzippy platform. So just to make things quick, I shall just select one of these. Let's select this one, and that's that, and that's selected. And so what I'll do next is go to the next button. By the way, just in case you wanted to know, you could upload a video here if you wanted to, and I've done that in a previous video, so I'll probably go back to that and then show you what that looks like. But I'm just walking you through the different aspects of this. So when I get here, I can determine what kind of video I'm interested in. There is a recurring which does what it says, so several times of the day this will keep playing multiple times. Now this is very useful for time zones. So if you have different time zones, for example, and you have customers in different time zones, as people tend to do a lot, you will have the ability to select the times that you want each of these webinars to play in and the number of days. So I'll give you an example of that as we go along. And if you want it to be live-like, there is that option. And if you want it to be on demand is an interesting one, because for this, you probably need a password, or you can link it to some kind of payment structure where they'll have to pay first before they can get access to it. So, there's that. And all that integration exists within this application. So if we select multiple times. So I'll do that instead of recording. I've got multiple times selected there. I'll go down and sorry about that. I'll go down and I'll now see that I have today the 2nd of September launch day, and it's launching today. Is launching at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This application. So please remember that. Another thing I have to say here is there is going to be a huge discount for 5 hours once it launches. And typically, the discounts for this product could be up to 30% for the commercial version. Now, obviously, the commercial version has a lot of aspects to it that I think will be better suited to you. So, for what you get for the personal license and the commercial license, if you're interested in it, try and get in early, and please take it seriously, because what tends to happen is this is not a case with this company. They tend to do these huge discounts, and once it expires, it never goes back to that price. Now, back to what we're doing. Select for the 2nd and 1:15 p.m. That will be okay. So if I select for the 2nd again, and I'll say 2:03 p.m. and then another time, and 2nd again. 2:03 is too close to 1:57. So let me take that up by taking into account for time zones. I'll just say 5 p.m., 5:03 p.m., and then I'll pick another time of maybe 9 p.m. Okay, and this will allow, just hypothetically, I know this is not accurate or anything, but this will allow for different time zones. So I changed it to 10 p.m. Okay, so that's just to show like 3 time zones, and I could select this to run for like 3 days. Okay, so it's a 3-day webinar for 3 time zones. So what happens is that when I send out the email for registration, the customer can decide whether or not, or what time zone suits them, and when they want to work, when they want to watch the webinar. Now the next I save that, and it now says your video is being cooked. Now this is interesting, because what we will now have is that we can go into further customization of the webinar, and there you have my logo, and there you have the heading for this particular webinar. And in addition to the menu system I showed you here, you can see another set of menus here, and these are to enable you customize the webinar just a bit more. So this shows you what you have put down already, and within the actual webinar itself, you can input other aspects, or a few different features. So this will enable the chat to be on when the webinar is running, so you can get in there and you can chat with people, or people can chat with you, depending on what kind of structure you want within the webinar. If you want the chat preference for attendees to be private, you can select that. So if you want to redirect if you have a website or a squeeze page or landing page you want to redirect webinar attendees to, you can. So in my case, for example, I could just put my website, which is www.saybyboss.com, and this is not going to be paid webinar, so I don't bother about this. This is features telling you about where you could actually get people to pay for for the kind of webinar you're setting up. So you can save that, and then other features within this menu are the email. Now, what happens is when you send out the email, for example, you have a standard template that the software has, everzippy. But in essence, you could generally change that up. You could change the pardon. You could change the times when it is sent out, the occurrence. So if you want to do that, all you have to do is you could select this, and this will enable you obviously change whether you want an instant confirmation and or not, or if when somebody registers, and if you want to change the structure of the email. So you could it allows you to put in certain features. So for example, if I wanted to give an incentive for people to stay to the end, so I could have a sixth line or sixth step, which will say attendees who stay to the end would be entitled to bonus. And then just to give it some sort of gravitas, I could change the font color. Where's this now? Here we have it. The text color, and I could make it nice and red, bold red, and I could make it bold. So it's hard for you to miss. And I could save that. Now what that does is that when you've customized the email, and when that goes out, what you get is an email that shows certain bullet points, but with a message that you really want within it. Now, that done, you can see you have different time slots for when you want to send out the email to the attendees 24 hours before. All of this can be customized down here. Now, the next tab has to do with changing the fields that you want the customer to register for. Typically, you have the name and email address, but you can add other fields if you wanted to. I like to leave it just as those two, so that people do not in the beginning, so that people can just make it easy for people. And you have all kinds of integrations here. App integrations. You choose app, and the reason why you see here my app key is I already have connected my on another one of the suites. This other software suites, I have my GetResponse account to this. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here, if we go back to the Mintware dashboard, so you can see is what I'm talking about. This is the Mintware dashboard, and you have a suite of different products. I have Dex funnels and I have everzippy. So with this, I've already connected my GetResponse account to it, and that key just means I don't have to do it again. So I can integrate automatically within the system. Now, going back to the webinar I'm setting up, to edit, I just click on that button and I continue where I left off. And the next tab within the inner tabs I will show you is the form, and that's where I took you out to show you how I use the app key for the app integration. And the other integrations, thank you page, you can send to a thank you page. You can embed obviously your codes, your pixel codes. I beg your pardon. This code is to embed if you want to embed the webinar within your website. So obviously you just take this code and you can post that on your blog on your website, so people can actually view the webinar from that way. This tab has to do with, yes, this tab has to do more with your pixels, for example, your Google pixels, and you can put them in the header, or or the registration page header, or in the webinar room page header. So that's quite good. That helps with retargeting. Now, the other tab has to do with getting lead generation, right? So in essence, you can register when you send up the forms to people who are inviting them and they register. This will come on and it will show the I have no registrants for this because I've set up a new I'm setting up a new webinar. But if I did, it will register them and it will show everything, all the different registrants. Another very interesting feature about this is you can actually add people in registrants yourself. And what this will make the webinar do, it'll make it look as if there are a number of attendants who have registered, but the other attendees don't necessarily have to know that they're only the number of people who are available at that time. When they look at and see, it looks as if it's a full house, and that really helps to kind of like create a situation where there's a lot of there's a lot going on. This can also be done using the bulk upload, and you can if you have a list of attendees you have, you can actually put them in and using a CSV file, and that will obviously bolster the numbers within your which is a nice little trick. I mean, if it's something that you want to use, which I think can be quite handy. Now, the other feature which we'll go to is simulated call to action. So simulated call to actions have to do with the fact that if during the webinar, either you're not available or you want a particular call to action to be put through, so you want people to get a special discount. So for example, I'll just show you. If you add a simulated call to action, you have the CTA message. You can say buy before the end of the webinar and get 50% off. What's the percentage sign? Yeah, percent off. Okay, and now and then you can give a link to where the offer might be. And where the offer might be, and you can also, if you go down, if you scroll down, you have the option to determine what time within the webinar you want the CTA to come in. So you can see the number of minutes. So maybe 6 minutes into the webinar or 10 minutes into the webinar, you can have various CTAs. So you can set them up so you can have various different kinds of call to actions as webinar goes along. So that's a very good feature, even if you are not present at the time. And that will really help to convert people who are within the webinar. So that's quite good. The same thing obtains with that's for webinar branding. For webinar branding, if you want to have your logo when people come to webinars instead of having the everzippy, you can ultimately change this. So at the top, you will see your logo instead of the everzippy logo, and you can upload the file, and essentially that will get it done. And this will be done. This can be done either as within the confirmation and reminder email. So your logo will be on the at the head of the emails, or in the webinar room. So when people are in the webinar room, instead of seeing the everzippy logo, they'll see yours. So that's a very good feature. I'm not sure whether that comes with the front end or the upgrades, but it's definitely a good feature to have. Now, another interesting feature is one of when you send out your email to attendees, you can have a small message, which you put on YouTube. And what you can do is you can actually post the URL in here, determine what size you want it to be, and add it to your welcome, to your invitation. Sorry. So people see what the webinar could be about. It could be a short 2 to 3 minute thing where people just see what your webinar is going to be about, or give them a taster for, which could be quite useful, for pushing them over the line. And the last feature is, have I done simulated chat? Yes, the simulated CTA. So these are some of the features that, as you can see, it's quite a robust piece of software that does quite a number of things. And I definitely think that it's well worth picking up this software to actually improve and help with a lot of the things that you want to do within your business. Now, if I go back to the webinars, there's one I've already set up, and in essence, I can show you what it looks like. If I want to, within the front end of the dashboard, you can actually get rid of the webinar. You can send an invite using this. Okay, you can join the room when the webinar is in progress, and to chat, and you can you can enter as a member. So that's quite good. And this means that you can actually help dictate the flow, or you can ask questions, or you can interact with participants as they go along. If I click on that, let's see, which one is this? So that's me just scratching my head, just doing a test. And that's the other webinar where I can join the room here and show you. So join the room. So you can see that's my brand on there. This is what attendees will see instead of everzippy. And this is just an introductory video that I put on my YouTube, just showing you what it looks like. And then as that goes along, I can say hi, and chat with attendees as questions come through. So that could be running. And I think one of the big advantages to this is, sorry, let me just get rid of this. One of the big advantages to this is you'll have the ability to focus on your attendees, because when you're doing a presentation, it's hard to do both. Typically, what used to happen was people used to hire somebody else to take questions and to work with the attendees, and this, in essence, meant that they got the full value of the webinar. But this takes this out of, this takes that necessity away, where you can be the person who will give the presentation, and you can actually manage the presentation the best way you want to and get things over the line, get things done. Now, like I said to you, it's going live, I believe, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the first 6 hours we'll see, I think 10 a.m. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, Eastern Standard Time, and the first few hours you'll see a huge discount. So if you're going to get at that point. Now, in regards to pricing, I believe that the front end has the personal and the commercial for $797, and the OTO one at $67, which is the Pro. The OTO 2, the reseller has price tags of $199, $299, and $499, and the everzippy, live zippy, I beg your pardon, which is the feature I showed you that you can change to, have 3 different price structures of $49, $99, and $149. Also, you have the everzippy OTO 4, which is the done for you webinar and masterclass, which, I'm covering that with my bonus. So you don't necessarily have to get that. You can actually see what you with the bonus I'm giving, you'll actually be able to get some of these aspects of the OTO4. Now, there's another thing that I have to say to you. When I showed you the dashboard for the main ZP, that's this dashboard, I showed you a suite of products. I believe that the vendor is giving some very good bonuses, amazing bonuses. I think you're going to get, if you do pick that up, you'll get this, which is a funnel builder. And trust me, it is a very good funnel builder. I highly recommend it. And another one of the members of the suite, which is a it's what that does. It enables you set up a help desk for your businesses. So if people want to contact you for different issues that have to do with a software or product you have, you can attach that to your product, and you can use that to get all kinds of information from your customers, depending and help and on help they require with your with your product. This something like what Zoho does, in essence. And this is a very good, useful tool to have. And they have two other bonuses, but these two standard bonuses are quite amazing. And I think that, for that reason, even if you do not yet need this for your business, I would definitely encourage you to get it. Now, thank you for watching my review. If you are interested in picking this up, there's a link just below my review, and please hit the subscribe button and give me feedback, because through feedback I kind of understand what you guys would like to see within a review video. And yeah, till next time, thank you very much. Bye bye.